Righty over then. Can relax now. We are going to start by setting our posture. So let's take our feet to roughly hip width apart, spread out the toes, make a nice connection down to the floor, and you're just starting to feel into the feeling of being grounded, spreading your weight evenly through the whole of the foot area. We've got that nice grounded feeling, but we're also lifting and lengthening, so we're standing tall without being tense, relaxing shoulders, softening knees, and bringing the hands into the belly. So we're just coming into that awareness to begin with of just nice, easy, natural breathing. We're going to go straight into a slightly deeper Pilates breath with that. So we inhale, feel the belly rise, and exhale, encourage your way into that deeper, braced feeling that happens when we get to the end of the breath. And we'll stay with that as we start to circle the arms. So relax down, take a breath in, and then breathe out. And when we're coming around with these arm circles, just take them back as far as your chest will let you go. So we're getting straight into, hopefully releasing and stretching a little bit of tension where we tend to hold it through the day. So just take a couple more of those circles, just check the soft knees again, and then one more, half a circle, just coming out into horizontal arms, into nice little upper body twist. Again, we're still thinking about breath, so we're breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, and breathing in. So we've got that nice little upper body spine twist happening, bringing a little bit of work into the shoulders, but mainly just that nice little bit of mid and upper back releasing. So from here, coming back into center after this one, we then bend the elbows in and put the hands onto the rib cage, dropping the hips. Oh, I forgot to turn the waiting room off today, so let me just let that in. So dropping the hips into that nice lengthened position down through the side of the body, feeling a little bit of gentle low back stretching, and we'll go one more each way of those. Then we go a little bit more into stretching the low back as we scoop our tailbone under and stretch out the other way. So it's finding those two extremes. Like I say, it is stretching the low back, firing up the tummy muscles, but it's also just making us think about where the pelvis can be in our posture. Now we want to find that mid position, of course, so we're into that nice neutral position, and then allow ourselves to rise up onto the tiptoes, just floating away quite slowly. On the way down, more challenging to go slowly, and then flexing, of course, there. Taking up a single arm into a circle pattern, and then flex and flex, and then we come up, circle through, and at the bottom, of course, we are flexing. So we're going to keep going with that pattern as we challenge our balance. Just a couple more. Okay, so we're coming into our last repetition. So we started with right arm floating, and that means we want to finish with left arm. So once we've done that final one, we flex the feet, plant them down, take a stretch up, reach high, swing through into a nice relaxed breath swing, breathe in, breathe out, reach and release, stretch up high, swing down low, and release. Let's go, just one more time here. Swing it through, reach up, let the arms open into our nice side bend. So we're going to come through there, into the other side straight away, then up, do a little forward arm circle, back up to the horizontal, and then into those side bends. So of course we started with our backward arm circles. So here we're just making sure we get them round the other way, breaking up a little bit the pattern of that side bend. So really lengthen, feel those shoulders stretch stretching, really nice. We're going to take a couple more of those. I have got the feet slightly wider with this one, so if that's more comfortable, that's okay, or normal hip width, ooh, forgot my circles. Normal hip width is okay. There we go. Just really feel that nice length. Let's go one last time, I think. Circle it through, arms up, into side bend, and then one final arm circle to finish, releasing the arms down there. Step the feet a little bit wider, nice easy twist now, much more fluid than our earlier twist. Just soft arms, relaxed legs, and just easily turning. We'll do a couple more of those. Okay, after this one, let's come back centre. Give the shoulders a nice little wriggle. Give the arms and the legs a little bit of a shake out. Very nice. Right, we're going to do a little bit of standing posture work before we get down to the floor. So I'm standing tall, of course. Spreading toes, feeling grounded, slightly soft knees. Neutral pelvis. Stacked up hips, ribs, shoulders, head. And we're taking our arms forward. So I've got my thumbs pointing up in the air and just making a square shape with the arms. So taking a breath in to prepare. As we breathe out, drawing the elbows so they're coming back there. Breathing in, stretching forward so we actually go slightly round shouldered. Then we open out. Again, we draw those shoulder blades back together, come together. And then we just repeat that pattern, squeezing and then stretching for a few repetitions. So it's all about firing up the shoulders, of course. So you've got that movement. When you come back here, very strong, trying to get the shoulder blades to basically touch together or as close together as they can. And it is the same thing when we go here. Again, the shoulder blades are coming together, but with the wide arms, of course, there's much more focus actually on opening and stretching the chest, because as we know, as I've talked about before, for your posture, it is important to strengthen here, but also you need to release the chest because that's where it gets really tight. So although the shoulders tend to feel it, it's usually the chest that's carrying most of the tightness. So this is a really nice one for doing that bit of combination of strengthening and stretching out together. And that's usually why quite quickly your shoulders will feel quite warm. So we're going to take maybe another couple of cycles through that. So with the breath as well, we're also getting some nice abdominal connection, of course. So I think this is probably going to be the last one. And then when you have finished, let those arms relax down, give them another good little shake out to loosen off, and then we're going to head on down to the floor. So just get yourself set up and ready onto your mat. If you're normally having head support, then of course you will need to bring that down with you and come into your floor laying position, which is lying on your back, knees bent, feet on the floor, head possibly supported if you need it, and of course nice and relaxed. Okay. Good job. Okay. Everybody's looking good. Right, now of course, once we're down here, we start to think about our breathing. So I've got hands onto belly. I'm just noticing my nice normal natural breath. So just like we started in standing. And then we want to connect into that deeper breath, of course. So we inhale, feel the belly rise, exhale, encourage your way into that bracing abdominal connection. So we're going, I'm just going to move back a bit so I've got a bit more leg room. We're going into some single leg circles here today. So it's a bit of a different focus to our more normal stabilizing strong leg work that we usually start with. It's a bit looser, but it's still challenging. So I'm going to pick up one leg. I'll start with my left leg just as it's nearer to you, but I'm going to stretch out the other leg so it's now lengthening along the mat, but I've got my foot slightly pointed so the muscles feel a bit tense. They're working in that right leg rather than being completely relaxed. So to circle, the arms come away into a little diagonal support position, and then we drop the leg out to the side, down towards the floor, over the top of the other leg. So see how the hip there is lifted up, and I'm letting the hip lift and move. So that's my bent leg circle. If you want a bit more challenge, try a straight leg, and again, let those hips go with it. If you want a bit of in-betweeny, bent down to straight works quite nicely as a sort of midpoint between those two challenges. We're going to think about somewhere between about 5 and 10 circles each way. So you've already probably done 6 or 7 this way, so depending on how tired your legs get in, change direction or do a few more up to 10. And then of course you're going to repeat it on the other leg. As always, we want to work both sides fairly evenly, as long as they're able to do that. So as long as there's no sort of particular issue on one side that prevents you doing the same amount on the other side. Okay. They're looking good, everyone. So as soon as you finish that first leg, that of course is going to stretch out. So that will release the front of the hip a little bit from where it's been doing lots of work. Picking up the other leg, again into those outer circles first. Roll around, let the hips go with. So we're getting a nice little bit of pelvis mobility, a little bit of low back movement as well. And you've got your options, bent leg or straight leg, or in betweeny, straight into bent. There, it's quite a nice one. So, breathing in your own rhythm, being as soft and fluid through the hips as you can, but at the same time, of course, bearing in mind it is quite a strong movement, so you're getting a bit of both with this one. You're getting that nice releasing type work through the hip, but at the same time, our legs are pretty heavy, relatively heavy to the rest of our body weight, so you're going to feel that challenge. The muscles will get fatigued as we go through. Okay, they are looking good. It does take a while to get through lots of leg circles, so don't worry if you're still going and you're still got a few to go. I will give you plenty of time, so we should all get to the point where we get to our own maximum and the amount we want to do. Wonderful. Having said that though, if you have finished or when you do, of course, your resting position, probably your legs will want to go out after that one for a little bit, but you might want to curl in, give the back a little release, or even just relax. Just find a really nice comfy position, soften into the mat, take some nice easy breaths, and yeah, just really release and soften the body for a moment. It's nice just to have a bit of time just to breathe for a moment there. I think we're all into our rest and we've had a bit of time. So, thinking about the same sort of thing as we come into upper body. There's a really strong core element with this one, but again, it's also quite releasing as we work into the shoulders. So, I'm back into my Pilates breath focus, finding that deeper connection. And for this one, because we're going double arm circles, but I've also got some other options to do as we go as well. I've got a single leg option, and that's going to be either a static or a moving leg. And then I've got my double tabletop options, again, either static or moving legs. So we can play around with the legs in a moment, but we'll bring the arms up so the palms are facing in towards one another. Because we're using it for really strong challenge today, I think about keeping the ribs connected, nice connection to breath, stretching out first of all on the exhale, and then just breathe out for as long as you can. Take the thumbs back as close to the floor as possible, open the arms really wide, inhale, come back up, and then keep going there. We are going this time anywhere up to 20 reps each way, so quite a lot. If you want to add a bit of leg challenge for the single leg option, it works quite nicely to add a little leg stretch. So you're adding a little bit of that lower abdominal, low back challenge with the single leg. If you're doing double legs, you can again stay with a static leg position. Maybe you would do a single leg stretch. So you're circling the arms, but you're alternating the legs. It is possible to do arm circles with a double leg extension. I wouldn't go too low on that because you want to make sure you don't lose your pelvis stability, but that's a good option. You've probably still got quite a few to go going in this direction. So at the minute, of course, we're doing backward arm circles. When you get up to 20 is your maximum. You don't have to do that many, but up to. When you get to your maximum, change direction, of course, with those arms. If you're doing single leg work, that's when you'll then change legs. And if you're doing the moving leg, of course, you'll add the moving leg into that arm circle pattern. So you get the arms working both ways. Let's have a look at them. They are looking nice. Yeah, really good. So either way, whatever you're doing with your legs, we're all doing some really nice big strong arm circles. Like I said before, similar theory to the leg circles. It's very releasing, it is very stretching into the upper body, but at the same time we're making it strong with our breath, with our rib cage connection, and then with the addition of holding or moving the leg or legs. Really, really nice. Now, of course, resting when we're done. Everybody will be going to where they like to rest. And it may be that when we're resting, you like to use that time as a chance to do some specific stretching, curling up, stretching out, twisting the back, stretching particular muscles. Or again, it can be that very soft, just really relaxed position with some nice, easy breathing. Don't panic if you're not there yet. I can still see a few arm circles going on, so if you're still working, that is fine. You've got time to complete your set. Really nice. Rightio. We are going to turn onto our sides this time. So you're coming over to face me this way. And we want to find a nice straight line down the body. When we come to side lying, generally, we do think about being in a straight line. And we always make sure that the head is comfortable. So a straight arm with the palm faced up towards the ceiling. That's okay, as long as your shoulder is happy with it. If you prefer a little bit more head support, tucked in can work well, or even a bit of extra neck support if you find that useful. Like I say, whatever is going on up here, it's about being comfortable. The rest of the body is in a nice straight line. We're going into our side raises today. So often side work involves the legs, but it's much more really focused in the core here. So I'm going to go a couple of options. First of all, just hover the legs a little bit to start with, and then as you breathe out, lift from your waist so you're picking up the legs to the side, trying not to topple back onto your bottom or lean forward on your arm too much. If you don't like having a lot of pressure on that hip, and sometimes I know it can be uncomfortable, leave the bottom leg down, but try and take your support away, and you're going into a single leg raise instead. So that's a really nice option. So we're breathing out and we're breathing in. We're still really challenging stability, very strong here. 2 legs, you can keep support, or again, you could go with the arm with that one as well. Be a little bit wobblier. So somewhere between, we'll probably aim to get to 10, but we might go more than that. So if we get to 10 quite comfortably, we start to try and increase those repetitions. Probably 20 is a maximum for most of us, and we'll find our maximum within that range, hopefully. So yeah, if you get to 20, that's going to be maximum anyway. And then of course we'll all be stretching as well. They're looking good. So it's really much more into that there, bringing the hips up towards the ribs, creating that waist activation. And as we're doing that, very, very strong here and here. All of this is working, switched on a lot to give that support. That's how you stop toppling over, basically. Now, of course, as I said, we always stretch out with side work. So when we have finished, stretch those legs away, bring the arm over, grab hold of it there, and we're pulling into nice long position. We're breathing a bit more deeply. We are stretching away, we're breathing deeply. And we may hold that position for 3 or 4 breaths. That will give us a really nice long release. Now we're going to stay on the side, staying in center focus, but a different movement. So the knees will now slide up. These are going to be our anchor points. So I've just got my legs stacked together there. If you're at home and you've got something available like a rolled up towel or a cushion that you can pop your head on, I've mislaid mine, I don't know where it is, so I'm going to show you the option for if you don't have anything. But if you've got something decent that can hold your head in a good position, pop it under there now and stick both of your arms out in front of you. If you don't have a head prop, just support your head in your hand like this, and this works really well. So whatever you're doing with this bottom arm, with your top arm, we're going to start with a pull, a bow and arrow pull. So I'm turning, turning, turning. As I exhale, breathing in and reaching forward. Option number 2 is a straight arm. Probably just depends on how comfy the shoulder feels with that. Option 3, which I would say have a go at, is slide the arm over the top, creating like a semicircle. As you can see there how tight my chest is, because it's not letting my arm go very far. But it comes out, it comes to there, really, really deep chest stretch, and then over the top, back again. That one is quite challenging, so you might not necessarily do the whole set there, but it probably is worth doing a few. But then you might go back to some straight arms, or some bow and arrows. That's good for if you've not got so much space, because you don't have to open as far. I'm going to give you a bit longer so you can work between those 3, maybe do some of each, or pick your favourite and stay with that. If you're doing the head supported version like me, just try and relax through the neck as much as you can, so that it's mimicking how it would feel if you did have head support. Yeah. So I just noticed my hips moving a little bit too much probably there. They will move a little bit, but mainly it's that upper body rotation that we're after. Good. Yeah, that over the head one really, really opens the chest. And like I said before, most of us probably do have tight chest muscles, so you feel that all across there into the sort of armpit there. So yeah, a few of those is good, but like I say, maybe not the whole set. If you're still going, a couple more, and then you can just come and have a little rest. Relax here for a moment. Really nice. Well done. Lovely. I always find when I come up from that one, that this side, then you can really feel the difference. So from here, we're going to lift ourselves up. We're going to come to sitting, but we've just been doing some big twisting, so it's not our normal sitting twisting work. We're coming into, again, strong abdominals with this one. If you can with this one, we're going to go into a straddle. It can be narrow, it can be wide, depends how much space you want to have there. And you can actually bend your knees with this one, so if your legs are a bit tight here, bent legs is fine. So I'm thinking, sitting up tall, nice straight spine as we generally do in sitting. I'll take a breath in, and as I breathe out, just let the head drop and curl the shoulders. I need my hands in the middle, not my legs. I'm looking down, trying to bring my nose towards my tailbone, curling my tailbone slightly as well. Now my knees are going to pop up because I know my hamstrings are tight, so that is fine if that is happening for you as well. What I don't want to have is a lot of tension here in the quad, so I'm not like forcing my leg down. This is soft. And then I'm rolling back up, start at the tailbone, rebuild the spine and come up. So rather than just like bending forward and back, you're trying to roll and curl through and roll and curl back up. If you're doing like wider, straighter legs, it's the same. Curl down, point your nose towards your tailbone, roll, 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 reach your hands as far as you can, and then roll back up, start at your tailbone, and then come up in sequence. You're stacking. Okay, very nice. If you've got a niggly low back and this is not agreeing with you, or the upper back doesn't like rounding, you can stretch the hamstrings in more traditional like straight back position. So now I'm just leaning, but again, put your weight on your hands so your back isn't holding your weight, and just ease that there. Or if it's your low back that's niggly, you could do like an upper body curl and sit without going into that forward position. So that works quite nicely for, like I say, anybody with niggly low backs might not want to go too far forward in this. We're just coming into our last few reps now, so let me have a little bit of a better look rather than from the side. Yeah, they're looking good. Well done. Yeah, it's another one of those where it's good for the posture to be having that stretching down the back and into the back of the legs, but of course we've always still got to be mindful of any weaknesses that we might have there. And you know, say particularly low back isn't always a fan of that bending forward position, so modify if we need to. So if you're still going, probably last one now. When you are done coming in, just giving everything a little bit of a shake out. We've got to repeat that side sequence, of course, so our side raises and our opening door. So bring your head support with you for in a minute for the side twist, but first of all, let's think about a nice straight line again. So lengthen out. Even if you're not lifting that bottom leg, remember you still want to have it quite straight away, so you're in good posture. Option one, breathing out both legs, keep a bit of support. Option two, leave the lower leg down and go there. Option three is both those things together, so legs and arms. So it's that strong hip to rib action, firing up there. Also strong abdominals, strong low back. The low back does a lot of assisting in this one, so you might feel quite a bit of work in there. Of course, strong outer hip and thigh. That's more pronounced in the single leg version. Yeah, and somewhere between 10 and 20. Stretch out as soon as you've done them. Rest when you've done that, but I'm sure you've still got a few to go. So no rush. Focus on breathing. Breathing will be noticeably helping you here. So as those legs are lifting up, you're breathing out. Strong activations. Good job. We've got that stability work as well in this one. So it's very, very strong in its own right, but then you're challenging your balance as well, of course. Great job. Like I say, if you have finished, take the stretch, and if you've already done your stretching, you can just enjoy a little moment of resting. Once everybody's done and into resting, we'll get back into the twisting phase. I think we're nearly done. Okay, that looks about it. So grab your head support if you've got it. If you don't have it, you're going to come same position as me. So you're using the hand to cradle the head, or even just resting in the arm would be okay. So knees up together. If your head's supported, this arm should be stretching out in front of you. So you're going to go there. Either way, top arm is reaching forward. Let's go bow and arrow first. Breathe out. Encourage that elbow towards the floor. Breathe in. Straight arm is option 2. Encourage the ribs a little bit more on that. I would focus less on encouraging the arm and more on turning the ribs to the ceiling. Then you've got your overhead slide or semicircle. Ooh, try not to hit things on the way round. I'm just gonna do that from a bit of a better angle there. So bow and arrow. Straight arm, fairly still hips, thinking of turning here, rib cage to ceiling. And then over. Okay. I'm going to give you a bit longer to do if you want. So I've managed 2 of each because I've done 6 reps, but I want to give you a bit longer, a few more repetitions than that. Like I said before, pick your favourite or maybe work through a sequence of them. However it feels good, we'll have a bit longer. They're looking really good. I think we're probably near to where we were when we finished on the other side. So last couple, and then just rest for a moment. Okay, great job. So we're coming over onto tummies now. We're going to do a bit of combination upper and lower body work here. So normally, of course, we tend to separate out, but for a little change, we're going to have a bit of a combo one. So hopefully we're going to have enough space for this because we want our arms out in front of us. So I can just about fit that in my space. So my legs are behind, my arms are out in front, and my thumbs are pointing up in the air with my little fingers resting on the mat. Now, normal front lying position, of course, wherever our arms go. We tend to have lots of different versions. We just don't want to be slumping down. So as I've got these arms out, I'm not like down here in the arms. I'm a little bit raised already, so the chest is lifting slightly, taking a bit of pressure off, and it gives me a bit of space here. So starting quite simple with singles. Breathe out, lift one arm, draw it to the diagonal. Breathe in, bring it back, other arm. Then we go one leg, diagonal drift, other leg. That's option 1. Oh, crampy feet. Then we've got opposite arm and leg for option 2. Oh, my left foot just won't stop cramping. Breathe out, lengthen, diagonal drift, center, release. So we're alternating. So option 1 is your single arm, single leg, travel around the body. Option 2 is opposite arm and leg, diagonal challenge. Option 3 is lift the upper body, do the arms, then do the legs. So you're going double arm, double leg. Option 4 would be everything all together. So lift, draw, star shape, and then back and down. That's super tough. Okay, so plenty of options for us all to find our way with that one. As always with anything front lying, when we're doing lower body work, of course, we're always aiming mainly to fire up the bum muscles. There will also be then corresponding low back assistance, leg muscle work as well. Of course, with the upper body, it's always about those shoulders. Sometimes it's very mobilizing, sometimes it's very strong and challenging, sometimes it's a bit of both. This one's probably a bit of both. Okay, they are looking wonderful. Good job, everyone. So, last few repetitions. We're not really doing a set amount here. If you have finished, you're just resting at the moment. If you're still going, you're just going to take your last few now, and then we'll all come and have a little stretch out in a moment. Great job. So if you haven't already, just tuck your toes under and let your low back have a little bit of a release. So we do that by just rocking the hips. So we're just nice and soft and gentle. I'm already just starting to think about softening my breathing here. Nice easy breathing, nice soft rocking into the legs as well. Okay, that is good. So from here, we're going to bring the hands in, pick ourselves up and take a little roll through the back. We go into our cat and our cow. And again, we're just at nice, soft, easy breathing with these movements. So just work through as far as it feels comfortable for you to encourage. When you've been up and down a couple of times, think about hip sliding. So once we've been up and down side to side, we will start to put that all together. So we're rolling through, we're sliding and releasing. And once we've done a good amount of that, hands come forward, elbows soften, and we drop the chest down to the floor. For your leg position, you can either go here into the high hips or slide back into your child's pose. Wherever you go, just stay there for a few breaths. Okay, the hands are sliding in by the knees and we are pressing ourselves up. And we are transitioning round onto our backs to come into our finishing sequence. So we're going to be shoulder bridging for our last one today. So if you have got a little prop that you can pop in between your knees, then you're going to do that. If not, mine's not really thick enough, so I'll go without. If not, you're just keeping your feet, your knees and your hips in line. So if you like to put your hand up in the air like that, that's the width generally that you'd want your knees to be apart, not too wide. So bring the heels in a bit closer to the bottom, relax the shoulders, connect to your breathing and scoop your tailbone up in the air. Do that as you inhale. So I'm rolling my tailbone, I'm pointing it to the ceiling, and then I keep going and I try and point it towards my nose. That makes a really strong bum muscle, leg, hip, abdominal activation. On the way down, I start with the shoulder blades and I place them, then the rib cage, then the low back. I try and keep the hips off the floor for as long as possible. Eventually they come down and you're back in neutral. That's your basic shoulder bridge. The up and down, the movement through the spine is the really key thing. And then of course we've got lots of options that we use to make it more challenging. So for most of us, that usually involves or starts with at least some arms. So try an arm stretch there. They may return and then you come down. They may circle around. It's quite a nice one. You may find that leaving your arms out behind you as you come down is quite a good position, and it's really up to you with all of those different arm variations. If you're doing leg lifting, if you're holding a knee prop, you'll do a diagonal leg stretch there forward, and you could maybe add an opposite arm with that. That's quite a nice challenge. If you're not doing a knee prop, if you're not holding anything, try knee up, leg up. I got a nice big knee crack then, if you heard that, was just a nice little knee. And then go from there. So we can play around, we can combine the leg options, the arms, and you will mostly know where you're normally going with your shoulder bridging. And I'm going to give you a little bit longer and have a good look at them. We'll be coming down into our stretches in a moment. Very nice. Yeah, great. Well, they're looking really good. Lovely. Okay, wonderful shoulder bridges. We're going to take, if we're still going, we're going to take maybe another one or two. We need to be coming into stretching fairly soon. So, finishing off this one and then coming down. So we're just nice relaxed position. We'll start by bringing the knees up. So the back has just had a good release with shoulder bridge. We're going to support the knees, but now we're going to draw some nice big circles. So it's just more of a massagey type effect rather than stretching like the shoulder bridges. Just nice easy breathing as we go there. And then back round the other way as well. Okay, that is good. From here, place those feet down, lengthen the legs out, pointing toes, arms overhead, make your body as long as you possibly can, and just breathe into that. Flex the feet, feel the backs of the legs lengthening, and again, just breathe into that for a couple of breaths. Good job. Relax the legs, circle the arms, slide the feet back in towards your hips, and then turn to the side, roll yourself up so we are back in sitting. Just briefly, sit as comfortably as you can. Clasp your hands together in front, look down towards your lap and open out those shoulder blades. Again with a nice couple of deep breaths. Open tall, lifting head, lifting chest, open out the shoulders now the other way. So again, it's that chest opening I was talking about earlier. And release. Side bending then to finish. Again, it's a couple of breaths to just really release that. They were working hard on those side raises earlier, so they need that release. Over we go. And then coming back to the middle, we give the shoulders a nice little release. Great job. Yay, well done. Good job, everyone. Excellent work.